Oh, we haven't gotten patch notes in quite some time. But we finally got them. We finally got them. Are these going to be the changes we need to have more people log on retail and play the game? We'll have to wait and see. What I'm hoping for, before I even look at these, what I'm hoping for is we see some healer buffs to the bad healers. And then I'm not really sure what else. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at what Blizzard has decided to do. All right, so I've got this little list here. This is not a tier list on the left-hand side. We're going to be categorizing the different classes that are talked about. No changes, slight nerfs, slight buffs, big buffs, okay? Let's go. Let's go. Right into it. All right, we regularly make class balance adjustments based on gameplay data and feedback from various class performance. The following changes to classes that are over and underperforming in various areas will arrive alongside the December 17th patch notes. So this is coming up on December 17th in just 4 days. Unholy Decay, Apocalypse Ghoul damage increased by 30%. Rotten Touch now increased the damage of your Scourge Strike against the target by 60%. Death Coil damage increased. Scourge Strike, Clawing Shadows, and Vampiric Touch damage increased. And this all is active in PvP. So what I'm going to be doing, guys, I'm going to be looking at the class change, and then I'm going to scroll down and see if there's anything for... Nope, no Unholy. So Unholy, these are buffs. Just straight up good buffs. They seem like big buffs, honestly. They seem like big buffs, but well, I think big buffs. I'm putting them in big buff category. That's a big buff. There's no doubt about it in my mind. We're talking big buff. Huge. Okay? Big buff for Unholy Death Knights. Demon Hunter. Fellblade damage increased by 10%. The Hunt initial damage increased by 10%. Havoc. Chaos Strike Annihilation damage increased by 10%. Demon's Blade. These are huge buffs too. I feel like these are big buffs too. Am I crazy? I feel like Demon Hunters are going to slap, dude. What the frick? All right. That's definitely big buffs for the Demon Kings. Do they need it? Many will say yes. Some will say no. What do I think? I don't know. But Unholy Decays and Demon Hunters getting big buffs for the end of the season. Okay, next up, Devastation Evoker. All damage increased by 4%. Does not apply in PvP. Pyre increased by 20%. Devastation down here. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so there's no Devastation changes here. Devastation, these are negligible. They're irrelevant. The Devastation is mentioned, but no changes. Okay. Next up, we have Hunters. We've got Marksmanship. Trick Shot damage percent increased to 75%. Was 65. Razor Fragments AoE damage percentage increased to 35. Dark Ranger Black Arrow damage increased. Dark Ranger Shadow Surge damage increased. And Dark Ranger Bleak Powder damage increased. So Marksmanship Hunter getting some... I don't know. I don't really know how good or bad those are. Truthfully. I don't know how good or bad those are. Are those... What is that? Is that good? It seems like it's slight buffs. That's decent. Big buffs. It's okay. It seems like the Hunter community isn't super stoked about it, but yeah, it's not that big, but it is something. Okay. Holy Paladin. Okay. This is an interesting one. Holy Paladin. Veneration now transfers 225% of damage done into healing. Was 200. Saved by the Light absorbed amount increased by 15%. Does not affect PvP combat. Consecrate damage increased by 30%. Tempered in battle no longer activates while the Paladin is within crowd control. Oh, that's big. That's big. So that, I think that's big. Yeah, so you no longer have the, I think that's really big, isn't it? Tempered in battle no longer activates if the target is in a Cyclone, Detainment, Imprison, or Diamond Ice. That's insane for some comps. Helipoggers class changes. All right, well, I guess they nerfed the Tempered in battle thing a little bit more. Lightsmith has been ruining the ladder, to be honest with you. Yeah, I can agree with that. So what would we say? Is that like, I mean, slight nerfs? Barely? That's like nothing, right? Did Paladin get anything down here? Nope. Okay. I think Paladin is still insanely good, by the way. Priest. Holy Priest getting more buffs. Holy Fire damage increased by 15%. Flash healing increased by 15%. So more Holy Priest buffs. I like to see that. That's nice. I like that they're targeting their damage a little bit. A little bit of damage is nice. Totemic Surging Totem mana cost reduced by 25%. That's a good change. Did they get anything else? Let's see. Holy Priest. Riptide healing increased by 15%. Healing surge. That's good, isn't it? They got 15% Riptide and 20% healing surge. Those feel like pretty good changes, and they lowered the cost of the totemic totem. I mean, I think that's pretty nice. That's definitely some slight buffs. I like it. What do you guys think about that, Mr. Shaman friends? Holy crap. What is this? Affliction Warlock. This scares me. Haunt damage increased by 75%. Does not apply in PvP combat. Focus Malignancy. They buffed that. Does not apply in PvP combat, but they did buff Oblivion. So Oblivion's going to do more damage. Savior's Gambit now increases the damage of UA by 20%. That is in PvP, by the way. Siphon Life now increases corruption damage by 30%. Was 20. This is in PvP too. Perpetual. So they did. Affliction Warlocks actually got some damage buffs. Anything down here? No. So Affliction Warlocks got some buffs. I don't know how significant those are, but it's something. Slight buffs. Alrighty. Now for the PvP specific changes. Blood Death Reaper's damage increased by 20% in PvP combat for Blood DK. They basically just buffed up Deathbringer for both Blood and Frost. I don't know how much that matters. I'll put slight buffs. I don't know. Maybe it's good. I'm not sure. All right. Druid balance. Alun's Chosen. Lunar Calling is now 80% effective in PvP. That's basically no changes to me. I don't think that does anything. Is it? PvP specific buffs to a tank spec. What am I reading? I think it's just it doesn't. I think this doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. Restoration Druid. All healing increased by 5%. I'm going to be honest, I would have preferred they targeted specific spells for this. I think it would have been better to target specific spells. Resto Druid's OP now. I mean, it's going to get to a point where they actually are OP from this, but I'll put that at slight buffs. It's going to happen, yeah. I think so too. There's going to be a point where Resto Druids are insanely good, but I don't know if this is enough. It's certainly nice. Every time they do a flat heal percentage to Resto Druid, they break it. Yeah, I would have liked them. I would have liked to see things like Cenarian. Like when I played Druid, I would have liked to see things like Cenarian Ward maybe get buffed. I'm trying to think of what else. Maybe like Swiftmend, you know, some of like their reactionary cooldowns. I think I would like it be better. Augmentation Evoker, deep breath damage reduced by 15%. Molten Embers increase the damage of black spells by 20% in PvP combat. Oh, they nerfed the Aug one shot. The Aug one shot definitely got big nerfs. It's not that. It's slight nerfs. It's good. Good. Just took my pre-workout. Nice, man. That's great. All right. So what do we have? Mage, Sun Fury. Burden of Power now increases the damage of your next Power Blast or Arcane Blast by 40% in PvP combat. Was that anything? I don't think that's irrelevant. I think it's so infrequent in Power Blast, like at least for Power Blast. This is no one's playing Sun Fury. Does anyone think that Sun Fury is going to be played? I'm thinking absolutely not at all. Under any circumstances, would you ever play Sun Fury still? Yes or no? Just want to double check with the chat real quick, make sure. Yeah, okay, no one's playing Sun Fury. Mistweaver Monk, Conduit of the Celestials, Celestial Conduit healing increased by 50%. Interesting. So they're actually buffing up Conduit of the Celestials for Mistweaver Monk. I'd say this is like a pretty neutral change because nobody's playing Conduit of the Celestials right now. Nobody's playing Conduit of the Celestial at the moment. Windwalker, okay. Fists of Fury damage increased by 30%. Blackout Kick damage reduced by 15%. Touch of Karma now absorbs up to 50% max health in PvP combat. Oh no! Oh no! Touch of Karma is the only thing monks have going for them. No! No! Shadowpan, flurry strike damage from Wisdom of the Wall increased by 30%. This is needed? You think so? I feel like Windwalker monks are just like not a big deal right now, are they? Like in the grand scheme of things, monks, really? They are? Monks are a big deal? Their burst is ridiculous? I guess I'm playing a different game. Like, I think Windwalker monks have some things that they can do to win the game, but like, I don't think Windwalker monks are as problematic as some classes, in my personal and humble opinion. I think this is actually just overall a big nerf to Windwalker monks. But we'll see. I like that they're buffing Fists of Fury. Maybe it'll be worth channeling now, especially with the Blackout Kick nerfs. Woodweaver, Inner Quietus increases power with shield absorption by 40%. So Discipline Priest, Voidweaver got some buffs. I'm going to put this just in like the basically no changes category. Elemental, Stormbringer, Tempest damage increased by 15%. Okay, Elemental Shaman, I'm going to say no changes. This is pretty minor. Like, the way they're buffing up some of these, I think what they're trying to do is buff up some of the non-meta hero talents. Chaos Bolt damage increased by 20%. Oh my god, they did it! Wait, they actually did it! Chaos Bolt damage increased by 20%? That's a big number. MLA damage over time increased by 20%. I think Destro... I'm putting Destro in the big buff. Those are big buffs, I think. Those are big buffs. Wither damage over time reduced by 25%. So, they buffed Immolate. Not sure if it's 5% due to ammo change. You missed Resto Shaman? Did I? No, I didn't. I already went over those. Yep. I put that Resto Shaman already got some slight buffs here. So that's nice. Arms Warrior got more damage buffs? What? Wait, what? Dude, Arms Warrior got more buffs. All right, here we go. Rend damage over time, 15%. Overpower damage increased by 20%. Those are buffs, by the way. Those of you that are saying those aren't buffs, those are buffs. Those are definitely buffs. Yeah, 20% overpower damage, and Rend already slaps, dude. And then they buffed Mountain Thane. Mountain Thane now increases the damage of Rampage and Bloodthirst by 45%. I actually think Mountain Thane Fury is going to be good. Like, it might actually be the spec to play. Huh. All right, so let's take a look at this. All right, we'll do a little in conclusion right now. These are the patch notes. So we got big buffs coming for Unholy, Demon Hunter, Destro, slight buffs from Marks, Holy Priest, Resto Shaman, Affliction, Unholy Decay, kind of. I don't really know. Frost Decay, kind of. I'm not sure about that one, but definitely solid buffs here for Warrior and Fury. Like both Arms and Fury got some solid buffs. In my personal opinion, the changes to Dev, Boomkin, Arcane, Disc, Mistweaver, and Ellie are all negligible. And then the only sizable nerfs are to Paladin, kind of. Not really. A little bit. Aug Evoker's burst is significantly worse. And Windwalker Monk's defense is going to be a lot worse now that they nerfed Karma. Unfortunately. Actually, yeah, I think I will put that in big nerfs. Their defensives, like the Karma changes. Brutes. It's brutes, mate. It's brutes. Okay. There it is, guys. I do want to say one final thing in conclusion with Windwalker Monk. I will say, I think it's underrated right now. I know Touch of Karma is strong. It's very strong, and I think it has to be, because if Touch of Karma isn't strong in terms of damage, people are just inclined to always rail it. And I think when it isn't a good, like when it's in a strong spot, you actually are a little bit afraid of it, which I think is good, right? I think it's good. Like I think that's a good mechanic where if they use Touch of Karma and you just fully rail your damage into it, you should be afraid. And maybe that won't be the case anymore, which kind of sucks because now everyone's just going to blast through Karma. But we'll see what happens. You guys happy with the changes? You sad about the changes? We didn't see anything for Asa, Sub, Outlaw, Survival, BM, Feral. We saw nothing for Ret, Shadow Priest, Demo, Frost, nothing for Fire Mage, and nothing for Enhance. So, there you go. These are the changes. They're coming next week with the anniversary patch.